My fellow Americans, I come to you today to blog about the President's speech on immigration reform. Well, today he brought up several points, and he wasn't just talking about immigration, but the points that I will touch on today will involve what he's talked about for immigration. First off, let me mention that I am not against immigration. As a matter of fact, my grandparents immigrated to this country. And I do agree with what he said that we are pretty much all products of immigrants. However, my grandparents, just like your ancestors probably did, came to this country legally. And therefore, I have no problem with immigration as long as you come to this country legally. The problem is, we have, as he said, an estimated 11 million illegal immigrants in this country. And right now we can't, he says, deport them all because it's not feasible. And you know what? You're right. To deport 11 million people isn't going to happen. You're not going to round them all up. You're not going to deport them. So, he's right. As much as I don't like to admit it, the president was right about that. However, what we can do, and what we must do, is make it impossible for them to work in this country. Make it impossible for them to rent an apartment, buy a house in this country. And we can do that relatively easily. The Department of Homeland Security has a program called E-Verify that businesses can use to verify that the person they're hiring is legal in this country. I recommend that we pass a federal law requiring all businesses to use the E-Verify system. That will be a step towards the process of ensuring that the people working in businesses are all legal. We also need to step up enforcement on the problem of hiring illegal immigrants. And they say, the president says it's not fair that illegal immigrants don't get paid minimum wage or they work in unsafe environments. And, well, the unsafe environments, I can understand because no one should work in an unsafe environment. However, working for less than minimum wage, you got to figure out that if I'm getting paid minimum wage, you take my taxes out, I'm making less than minimum wage. So, the amount that they're being paid, their taxes just aren't coming out, and they're getting paid what a young person would be being paid during their first job after taxes. Now, the president mentioned a pathway to citizenship in his speech. And I do not approve of his method and ideas for a pathway to citizenship. I feel that the people in this country illegally should not be given an easy out. What they should be given is a ticket out of this country and they can re-enter legally. Putting these people into the line by making them register that they're here and admit that they broke the law and pay their taxes, he said. How are we going to make the illegal immigrants pay their taxes for wages earned that we can't document what they made? It doesn't make sense. So therefore, the taxes that they'll pay is what? Nothing? We cannot prove what they got paid. We can't prove how long they've been here. And he also claims that kicking them out would tear apart the fabric of this country. No, it won't. We have a significantly high unemployment rate right now in this country. And everyone's saying, oh, the illegal immigrants are doing jobs that Americans just won't do. You find some of these people who are out of work and ask them if they'll take a job doing something that an illegal immigrant is doing, such as picking citrus from trees or roofing or landscaping or whatever they've got the illegal immigrants doing. And if it means putting food on the table for their family, keeping a roof over the head of their children, they'll do the job. That's the thing about parents. Parents will sacrifice a great deal if it means protecting the livelihood for their families and their children. And in that situation, I can understand, in a way, the illegal immigrants coming to this country. They want to provide for their families. And I'm sorry, but right now we have a system of laws, and those laws aren't being enforced. And we need to get on our government to enforce those laws. Now, the president mentioned that we need one unified set of federal immigration laws, and which tells me he hasn't read the federal laws, because we have a standard set of federal immigration laws. He just refuses to enforce them. And, by that method, he's being incompetent and he's failing in his duties. He swore an oath to protect and defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. These people coming into this country illegally, he's claimed that the people in this country illegally are a significant part of this country's economy. I go back to what I was saying about them being paid off the books, under the table, cash. How is that a good part of the economy when we can't track what they're being paid? We don't know what they're being paid. We don't know how many hours they're working. We don't know what they're doing. We have no way to track the amount of money that they're getting. And this is a significant part of our economy? No. What we need to do is make it impossible for them to be in this country illegally. He claims that the border is safer. He claims that the border has more border protection on it now than it has in the last 20 years. And he claims that crime is down in border states, in border areas, which is quite the contrary from what's going on in Arizona, which, in case he hasn't realized, Mr. President, Arizona is the kidnap for ransom capital of the United States. Number 2 in the world. It is the second highest kidnapping rate in the world. And it's here in our country. And you say that crime is down? I don't think you're paying attention, Mr. President. And the American people are. And the American people are sick and tired of what's going on. And you're saying that the law in Arizona will violate the rights of citizens in this country because of the way they sound or their skin color. Again, this goes back to the fact that obviously you haven't read the law that was passed in Arizona. The law specifically says profiling shall not be used. Okay? If someone has a valid driver's license for the state of Arizona, end of question.